Gentlemen, let me speak plainly. Some of the very fruits sitting quietly in your kitchen right now are not nourishing your strength, they are draining it. Yes, the same fruits you've always believed were good for your heart and energy may in truth be robbing you of your vitality, your confidence, and even your erections. For a man over 50, that's not a small matter. It's the line between living and merely aging. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott, a urologist and men's health specialist who spent more than 30 years helping fathers, husbands, and grandfathers rebuild their strength and reclaim their confidence. I've seen men walk into my office believing their weakness was just old age, only to discover that their diet, their well-meaning, healthy habits was quietly sabotaging their testosterone. Let me tell you this, low testosterone doesn't just steal your energy, it steals your identity. It dulls your edge. Your presence, that silent sense of being a man who still has fire left inside. And most of the time, it begins with something as ordinary as the fruit you put on your breakfast plate. Here's the paradox. Some fruits can crush your testosterone and slow your blood flow. But others have the power to lift it, to strengthen your heart, sharpen your mind, and reignite your desire. The same grocery aisle can either be your quiet enemy or your greatest ally. That's why today, I'll reveal the 4 common fruits that quietly destroy testosterone in men over 50 and the 4 powerful ones that can restore it. Before we dive in, I want you to pause for a second and make sure you don't miss what's coming next. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. It's the simplest way to stay informed, stay powerful, and stay one step ahead of time itself. And if this message resonates with you so far, if you're the kind of man who refuses to fade quietly, then go ahead and click the like button right now. Not for me, do it for you. Because every like tells the algorithm that men's health matters, that truth still deserves a place in this noisy world. And when you press that button, I genuinely hope 3 things for you. That your strength grows deeper than your years, that your confidence returns in ways that surprise even you, and that your next chapter feels lighter, stronger, and more alive than the last. If this topic strikes a chord, type 1 in the comments below. If you're skeptical, type 0. I'll read every response. Tell me your story. Tell me what you've tried, what's worked, what hasn't. I want this to be a conversation, not a lecture. Because what I'm about to share isn't theory, it's truth drawn from years of real men, real stories, and real recovery. Now, let's begin with the first fruit that seems innocent enough but quietly chips away at your manhood, one bite at a time. I want to start this part with a story, because science is one thing, but seeing it play out in a real man's life is another. A few years ago, I met Martin, a retired math teacher, 65 years old, sharp-minded, soft-spoken, and the kind of man who always tried to do the right thing. He came into my office exhausted. His energy was gone, his mood was heavy, and his confidence had quietly slipped away. "Doctor," he said, "I eat clean. No candy. No soda. I've done everything right, so why do I feel like this?" When I asked what he ate in the evenings, his answer hit me like a bell I've heard 1,000 times. "Just a bowl of raisins or a few dates after dinner, that's my little healthy treat." Healthy treat, that's what most men call it. But here's the truth, gentlemen, that bowl of dried fruit was slowly wrecking his testosterone. When fruit is dried, the water disappears, but the sugar stays packed into tiny, concentrated bites. A handful of raisins might look harmless, but inside your body, it's like dumping spoonfuls of sugar straight into your bloodstream. And sugar is a silent assassin. It spikes your blood glucose, forces your insulin to surge, and pushes your body into a state that chokes out testosterone production. It's not opinion, it's biology. High insulin and high sugar signal your body to store fat. And that fat doesn't sit idle. It produces estrogen, the hormone that slowly tilts the balance away from masculinity. You see where this leads: more fat, less testosterone, more fat. It's a vicious circle, a slow hormonal spiral that leaves many men tired, foggy, and frustrated. I remember Martin looking at me stunned. You mean the same raisins I eat for my heart are hurting my testosterone? He asked. I nodded. Yes. But there's good news, your body can recover. He swapped his dried fruits for fresh ones lower in sugar, blueberries, pomegranates, even small apple slices. Within 3 weeks, his sleep improved. A month later, his energy returned. And 2 months in, his wife came to his follow-up visit, smiling quietly as she said, "Doctor, he's been himself again." That moment never gets old for me, because it's the reminder that knowledge, not pills, not gimmicks, is what gives men back their power. And I know some of you watching are thinking, come on, doc, are you saying I can't eat raisins ever again? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you need to treat sugar like a controlled substance once you're past 50. Small indulgences are fine, daily habits are not. Your body changes with age, and what once worked for you in your 40s may quietly sabotage you in your 60s. If you've been snacking on dried fruits believing they are natural and safe, it's time to see them for what they are: concentrated sugar bombs that do your hormones no favors. So here's my challenge for you tonight. When you reach for that bowl of raisins or dates, pause for a second. Ask yourself, am I feeding my energy or my fatigue? Because once you start choosing foods that truly serve your testosterone, your body will reward you with more than energy. It will give you back your drive, your confidence, and your sense of strength that no candy bar or supplement can ever replace. And if that surprised you, wait until you hear what comes next: a fruit that looks harmless, even refreshing, but quietly mimics estrogen inside your body and weakens your manhood from within. Let me tell you a story that might sound a little too familiar. Harold, 63 years old, a retired mechanic from Indiana, came to my clinic one quiet afternoon. The kind of man who still changes his own oil, still believes in a firm handshake, and doesn't like complaining. But that day he looked tired, not just body tired, soul tired. He said, "Doc, I'm eating clean, I quit the beer, I walk every day, but I feel like I'm fading. I don't wake up sharp anymore. My energy's gone, my drive's gone, and my wife thinks I've just slowed down." I asked him to walk me through his diet: oatmeal in the morning, chicken and vegetables for lunch, and every afternoon, like clockwork, a bowl of seedless grapes. He smiled proudly when he said it. "It's my healthy snack, doc, no candy, no junk, just fruit." But here's the problem: that healthy snack was quietly betraying him. You see, the seedless grapes are one of the most misleading foods in a man's kitchen. They look innocent, refreshing, and natural. But most commercial seedless grapes are soaked in pesticides that act as endocrine disruptors, chemicals that interfere with your hormones. They don't care that you're trying to be healthy, they just mimic estrogen inside your body. And that's not the only threat. The grapes themselves contain phytoestrogens, plant compounds that behave like weak estrogen once inside your bloodstream. Now, think about that for a moment. You're a man over 50. Your natural testosterone is already declining. And now, every time you reach for those grapes, you're feeding your body more estrogen-like signals. It's like pouring water on a fire that's already burning low. That's why I tell my patients, your testosterone isn't just disappearing, it's being crowded out. Harold looked at me like I'd told him gravity was fake. "You're saying grapes are making me weaker?" "Not all grapes," I said, "just the kind that's been stripped of its seeds and its strength." The seed in a grape isn't just nature's afterthought. It contains trace minerals, antioxidants, and compounds that actually protect your testosterone-producing cells. When we remove the seeds, we don't just make the fruit softer, we make it biologically weaker. And what's left is sugar, skin, and chemicals. I asked Harold to switch to organic seeded grapes, and only in moderation. I also had him add pomegranate juice a few times a week and a serving of avocado with breakfast. When he came back a month later, he looked different. His eyes had more light in them. His handshake was stronger. His voice carried more weight. "Doc," he said with a grin, "my wife told me last night, whatever you're doing, keep doing it." That's the power of awareness. It's not about perfection, it's about knowing what you're really putting into your body. If you're a man over 50 and you snack on seedless grapes every day, I'm not saying you have to give them up forever. But I am saying this. If you want to keep your testosterone alive, you need to stop giving your body mixed signals. Because the line between strength and decline is thinner than most men realize, and it often runs right through your grocery cart. Now, before we move on to the next fruit, I want to take a brief pause because I've received a lot of questions from men just like Harold and even a few wives about this very topic. So in the next part, I'll open the mailbag and answer them straight and unfiltered. Every time I release a new episode, my inbox fills up. Questions, stories, challenges, even a few jabs. And you know what? I love it. It means men out there are finally thinking, questioning, pushing back, and taking their health seriously. So today, let's open the mailbag and tackle a few of your comments head on. Question 1, Paul, 67, Texas. Doc, come on, are you saying I should never eat grapes again, even the organic ones? Paul, good question, and no, I'm not here to demonize fruit. I'm here to teach discernment. The key is moderation and source. Organic, seeded grapes every once in a while, fine, but the store-bought seedless kind, sprayed and stripped, eaten daily, that's the problem. A few grapes won't wreck your testosterone, but years of constant exposure might quietly chip it away. Remember, consistency builds health and the wrong consistency destroys it. Question 2, Sarah, 65, New York. My husband refuses to give up his nightly bowl of raisins. Any advice? Sarah, tell him this. Discipline doesn't mean deprivation. He doesn't need to give up sweetness. He needs to change the source. Try frozen blueberries, a bit of dark chocolate or pomegranate seeds, sweet, satisfying, and friendly to his hormones. And tell him Dr. Prescott said, you can't outsmart biology, but you can cooperate with it. Question 3, Frank, 72, Florida. Doc, I've eaten canned peaches my whole life and I feel fine. Isn't this fear-mongering? Frank, I appreciate the honesty. No, this isn't fear-mongering, it's perspective. Some men tolerate things longer than others, but the real question is, do you feel fine or have you forgotten what feeling great was like? Canned fruits won't kill you overnight, but over decades, the sugar and BPA can chip away at your strength. You might think it's just aging, but it's not. Sometimes it's just chemistry catching up. Question 4, anonymous comment on YouTube. So now even fruit is dangerous. Next you'll tell us breathing oxygen lowers testosterone. Ah, my favorite kind of skeptic. Listen, I get it. It sounds absurd until you look at the data. We live in a world where healthy doesn't always mean natural anymore. The food industry engineered convenience, not longevity. I'm not here to scare you, I'm here to help you fight smarter. If you want to laugh at me, that's fine. Just don't laugh at your own biology while it's trying to warn you. Question 5, David, 74, Colorado. Doctor, thank you. My wife and I both started eating pomegranate after your last video. I haven't felt this alive in years. David, that means more than you know. You just proved the whole point. The body still listens no matter how many birthdays you've had. It's never too late to tune it back to life, so keep your questions coming. Comment below, challenge me, share your wins. Because this isn't a lecture, it's a brotherhood of men taking back control. One honest conversation at a time. Now, let's move on to the next so-called healthy food that's been fooling men for decades. A slick, well-marketed trap hiding inside snack bags and protein mixes. It's time to talk about soy-based fruit snacks and why they might be quietly draining your masculinity. Let's talk about one of the biggest deceptions in the modern health food industry, the kind that preys on good intentions. Because many men trying to take care of themselves are unknowingly feeding the very problem they are trying to fix. A few months ago, a man named Steven, 62, came to see me, former accountant, clean-cut, disciplined, and proud of it. Doctor, he said, I cut out chips, candy, soda, all the junk. Now I snack on soy nuts and fruit mixes. It's healthy protein, right? That single sentence, I swear I've heard 100 times. Steven's blood work told the story before he even finished talking. His testosterone had dropped nearly 30% since his last checkup. His waistline was expanding. His energy was low. His wife had noticed the changes too, emotionally and physically. He wasn't sick, he was misled. Here's the truth most marketing campaigns will never tell you. Soy contains compounds called phytoestrogens, plant-based chemicals that act like estrogen in your body. And for men over 50, already fighting against nature's slow hormonal decline, that's like tossing sand into the gears of an already aging engine. See, when you eat soy, especially in concentrated forms like edamame snacks, soy protein blends, or soy fruit trail mixes, those phytoestrogens compete directly with your testosterone. They bind to the same receptors, sending the wrong hormonal signal. The result? Less drive, more belly fat, weaker muscle tone, and often quieter nights in the bedroom. What makes it dangerous isn't just the chemistry, it's the illusion of health. The packaging says high protein, heart healthy, plant powered. But for men, those same foods are often hormone traps disguised as health food. When I explained this to Steven, he sat in silence for a moment, then said, "So you're telling me the snacks that made me feel responsible are the reason I feel like half a man?" I nodded, not because it's dramatic, but because it's true. He switched to real foods that fuel testosterone: almonds, walnuts, and pumpkin seeds paired with fresh fruits like blueberries and pomegranate. Within 6 weeks, his energy began to rise. Within 3 months, his confidence returned, and his wife told me something I'll never forget. "Doctor, he's laughing again." And when a man starts laughing again, you know he's coming back to life. That's not luck. That's biology remembering what it was designed to do. So, gentlemen, if you've been fooled by labels that promise health, I'm not blaming you. The system is designed to make you trust the wrong things, but awareness changes everything. Check your snack drawer, your protein bars, your healthy mixes. If you see the word soy on the list, consider this your wake-up call. Your hormones are listening, and every bite is a message. Because masculinity isn't just about lifting weights or taking supplements. It's about protecting the chemistry that keeps your spirit, your strength, and your passion alive. And if soy snacks were the trap, the next food we'll uncover is the comfort of a generation. The kind of fruit that reminds you of your childhood, yet hides a sugary, chemical secret that quietly sabotages your future. There's a kind of comfort in memory. For many of us who grew up in the 50s and 60s, canned fruit was a family staple. It sat in neat rows in the pantry: peaches, pears, pineapples waiting to be opened after dinner. Back then, it was a symbol of care. Our mothers and wives proudly said, "It's fruit, it's healthy." But nostalgia, gentlemen, can be dangerous when it blinds us to what's changed. I remember Robert, a 70-year-old Air Force veteran from Arizona. Sharp as a tack, proud and polite, the kind of man who still stands when his wife walks into the room. He came to me with a problem that was wearing him down. "Doc," he said, "I feel sluggish, heavy. I've lost my spark. Even my blood pressure's up, and well, you know the rest." He paused before admitting, almost sheepishly, "I've been eating canned pineapple every night for years. It reminds me of home. My wife used to make it when the kids were small." I smiled because that story, that habit, that sentiment, I've heard it 100 times. And I told him the truth. "Robert, the problem isn't your memory, it's the syrup. You see, what sits inside those shiny cans isn't just fruit, it's fruit swimming in liquid sugar, a thick syrup that spikes your blood sugar like a shot of soda. One serving can deliver more sugar than your body can handle in an hour. When your blood sugar rises, your insulin follows. And when insulin stays high, testosterone falls. That's not an opinion, it's endocrinology 101. But the syrup is only half the problem. The can itself often contains a chemical called BPA, bisphenol A, used to line the inside of the metal. Studies show BPA mimics estrogen, disrupting your natural hormone balance. So for a man in his 60s or 70s, every spoonful of canned fruit is like sending your hormones mixed messages: more sugar, more estrogen, less testosterone. Robert looked at me stunned. I thought I was being healthy. I thought I was doing the right thing. And that, gentleman, is what breaks my heart. Good men doing their best, but fighting blindfolded against an enemy wrapped in a label that says wholesome. I asked Robert to stop eating canned fruit and switch to fresh berries and pomegranate instead, natural sugars, rich in antioxidants and no chemicals. 3 months later, he came back 20 pounds lighter, clearer-eyed, stronger in his step. And with a grin, he said, "Doc, my wife just told me I remind her of the man she married." That right there is the reward of awareness. So I'll say this to every man listening: I know the taste of nostalgia. I know the comfort of familiar flavors that remind you of better times. But you can't rebuild your future with foods that belong to the past. Canned fruit was the best our parents could offer then, but now you know better. If you still want that sweetness after dinner, make it from something that gives back: fresh fruit, no syrup, no lining, no poison disguised as dessert. And to those who think I'm being too harsh, I understand. It's hard to let go of habits tied to love, family, and memory. But remember, real love isn't about comfort, it's about longevity. So take this as your reminder: the foods that built your childhood aren't always the ones that will preserve your manhood. And if canned fruits carried a sentimental lie, the next one we'll discuss is worse. A modern health food that pretends to help you, but actually drains your strength from the inside out. Every man over 50 should know this truth: your body isn't running out of power, it's running out of raw materials. And sometimes the fix is as simple as putting the right fuel back in the tank. That's where avocados come in. I'll never forget James, 64, a retired construction foreman from Michigan. A solid man, worked outdoors all his life, proud of his hands, proud of his word. When he first came to see me, he looked healthy on the outside but defeated on the inside. His voice carried that quiet tone men use when they don't want to admit something's wrong. He said, "Doc, I still love my wife, I still love my work, but I just don't feel strong anymore. I feel like I've lost my edge. My energy's low, my focus is gone, and when it comes to intimacy, well, it's just not there." He'd tried supplements, powders, even some late-night infomercial miracle capsules. Nothing worked. He wanted science, not slogans. So I told him the truth: "James, you don't need another pill, you need fats." He looked confused. "Fats, but aren't fats bad for the heart?" That's the myth most men have been fed for decades. But avocados aren't those kinds of fats. They're packed with monounsaturated fats, the very building blocks your body uses to make testosterone. Without enough of them, your hormone production slows down, like an engine starved of oil. I asked him to start his mornings with half an avocado and 2 eggs, nothing fancy, just simple, balanced, and consistent. Within 3 weeks, he felt steadier, less irritable, less exhausted. By the end of 2 months, he had more energy, better workouts, and something every man notices but rarely admits: his mornings felt more alive again. And his wife, she came to his next appointment and said with a grin, "Doctor, whatever you told him to eat, please don't stop." You see, avocados don't just feed your hormones, they also feed your circulation. They are rich in magnesium and potassium, two minerals that lower blood pressure, ease inflammation, and help maintain blood flow, the kind of blood flow that matters for both heart and performance. Good blood flow means oxygen-rich muscles, a clearer mind, and stronger, more reliable erections. Every man knows that when circulation improves, everything improves. But here's something few people talk about: the emotional side. When testosterone rises naturally, men don't just gain strength. They gain stability, presence, and confidence. The world feels more manageable. You walk taller, you laugh easier, you reconnect with yourself. James said something I'll never forget: "Doc, I didn't just get my energy back, I got my patience back. I feel like I'm myself again." That's what natural restoration does. It doesn't give you a fake high, it gives you yourself back. So, gentlemen, if you've been afraid of fats, it's time to rewrite that story. The right fats are not your enemy, they're your foundation. Start small, add half an avocado to breakfast, blend one into your smoothie. Use it in place of butter or mayonnaise. Within weeks, you'll feel the difference not just in your body, but in your outlook. Because a man's vitality isn't something he buys, it's something he rebuilds one choice at a time. And while avocados help you build testosterone, the next fruit we'll talk about can help you ignite it. A fruit so ancient and powerful that kings once drank it as a symbol of virility and victory. Let's talk about pomegranates, the king's fruit of vitality. There's something regal about a pomegranate. The deep red skin, the crown-shaped stem, the glimmering seeds inside, it doesn't just look royal, it feels royal. Ancient kings once drank its juice before battle, believing it gave them courage and strength. Modern science has finally caught up to explain why they were right. I met Walter, 68, a retired high school coach from Pennsylvania who walked into my office with a slow, heavy step. He said, "Doc, I'm not sick, but I feel like I've lost the man I used to be. I've got no fire. My wife says I'm distant. I'm not depressed, just empty." He wasn't lazy or neglecting his health. He walked daily, ate clean, and even lifted light weights. But what he didn't realize was that his testosterone was quietly draining away and his body was signaling it through fatigue, low mood, and lack of intimacy. I told him, "Walter, what you're describing isn't weakness. It's depletion, and we can fix it." I asked him to start drinking pomegranate juice 3 times a week, just a small glass, no sugar added. He raised an eyebrow. "Doc, you think fruit juice is going to bring me back?" I smiled. "Not any juice, this one is different. Here's why. Pomegranates are one of the richest natural sources of antioxidants known to man. Those antioxidants protect the Leydig cells in your testes, the very cells responsible for producing testosterone. As we age, oxidative stress slowly damages them. Pomegranate compounds act like armor, helping those cells recover and keep producing. Clinical studies have shown something extraordinary. Men who drank pomegranate juice daily saw an average 24% increase in testosterone levels after just 2 weeks. 24%. That's not a small bump, that's a revival. But it's not just about the hormone. Pomegranates also improve blood flow, increase nitric oxide production, and lower inflammation. Better circulation means better oxygen delivery to your muscles, brain, and yes, the parts of your body that define your manhood. After a month, Walter came back looking lighter. His handshake was firmer, his laugh deeper. He said, "Doc, I didn't expect this. I've got my mornings back. My focus, even my wife said I'm standing taller again." And here's what I told him. When a man restores his testosterone naturally, his body doesn't just heal, his presence returns. The man his family misses comes home. That's why I call pomegranate the king's fruit. It reignites what age tries to take: strength, confidence, connection. Now don't confuse this with sugary store-bought juices in fancy bottles. Those are traps. Look for pure, cold-pressed pomegranate juice, or even better, eat the seeds themselves. Each ruby-red kernel is a tiny capsule of vitality. It doesn't take much, just consistency. One glass a few times a week can begin to shift your balance from decline to recovery. So if you're listening to this thinking, "Doc, I'm too far gone," I want you to remember Walter's story. You're not too far gone, you're just one choice away from feeling alive again. Because when testosterone rises, energy follows. And when energy rises, so does life itself. Now, if pomegranate is the king's drink, the next fruit is the craftsman's fuel: rich, simple, and built to rebuild the foundation of a man's strength from the inside out. Let's talk about bananas and berries, the everyday powerhouses hiding in plain sight. Not every secret to vitality wears a crown. Some sit quietly on your kitchen counter, waiting for you to notice them again. Two of the most underestimated foods for men over 50, bananas and berries, are proof that the simplest choices can have the deepest impact. Let's start with bananas. I once met Thomas, 61, a small business owner from Illinois who told me something every man eventually admits in my office. Doc, I'm tired, I sleep. But I wake up more tired, I work, but I don't feel sharp. And my wife, well, she's noticed the difference too. He wanted some complicated fix, a new supplement, a testosterone injection, a diet plan that sounded expensive enough to feel legitimate, but I told him something that made him laugh out loud. Thomas, I want you to start your mornings with a banana. He blinked. A banana, that's your medical advice? I smiled. Yes, and here's why. Bananas contain an enzyme called bromelain which supports your body's ability to produce testosterone naturally. It doesn't replace your hormones, it reminds your system how to make them. Bananas also contain vitamin B6, crucial for reducing stress hormones like cortisol that block testosterone production. The less stress your body carries, the freer your testosterone flows. But the magic isn't just hormonal, it's practical. Bananas provide clean, steady energy without the crash that comes from processed sugar. For older men, that means fewer afternoon slumps, better focus, and the kind of consistent stamina that keeps you active through the day and night. After 2 weeks, Thomas came back. He said, Doc, I didn't expect much, but I feel steadier. My mood's better. My mornings, they're different. Then, with a grin, he added, my wife says she likes your prescription. That's when I knew he understood what I'd been trying to teach. Energy and confidence start with chemistry, not chance. Now let's move to the quieter heroes, berries. I met Edward, 70, a retired engineer who said, Doc, I think my mind's going before my body. His memory was slipping, his energy fading, and intimacy had become something he barely recognized. He blamed age, but what he really suffered from was oxidative stress, the invisible corrosion of time. In berries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, are loaded with flavonoids and antioxidants, compounds that neutralize that damage and protect the Leydig cells that produce testosterone. Those same antioxidants also protect your brain from cognitive decline, improve circulation, and keep your blood vessels flexible. When Edward started adding a cup of berries to his breakfast, fresh, not dried or canned, he didn't just feel better physically. He felt sharper. He told me, Doc, I remember things again, names, details, even my wife's grocery list. I feel alive up here. He tapped his forehead and smiled. It's like someone cleared the fog. And that's exactly what these fruits do. Berries clear the fog, not just in your brain, but in your bloodstream. They support nitric oxide production, the same mechanism behind medications designed for men with erectile issues, but naturally and safely. Better blood flow means better erections, better focus, and better heart health. Together, bananas and berries form one of the simplest, most powerful combinations for male vitality. One supports hormone production, the other protects it. One gives you the fuel, the other guards the flame, and the best part, they're affordable, accessible. There's no marketing trick, no label that says miracle. Just two everyday foods that do what your body's been craving for years. So if you've been feeling sluggish, foggy, or disconnected, start here. One banana in the morning, 1 cup of mixed berries later in the day. That's it. Simple, ancient, effective. Because the truth is, your body isn't broken, it's just waiting for the right signals. And sometimes, those signals come in the form of the foods you once took for granted. And now that we've uncovered the good and the bad, the destroyers and the builders, it's time to bring it all home. Let's tie everything together, man to man, with a message I want every listener to remember long after this video ends. Gentlemen, we've traveled a long road together, from the fruits that quietly drain your strength to the ones that rebuild it piece by piece. And if there's one truth I want you to remember, it's this. Your body listens to what you feed it. Every single day. You've learned about the quiet thieves, seedless grapes stripped of their strength, dried fruits packed with sugar that crush your testosterone, canned fruit soaked in syrup and BPA that whisper estrogen into your system, and soy snacks disguised as health food that slowly drown your masculinity. These foods don't announce their damage. They just chip away at you until you mistake exhaustion for age. But you've also met your allies of pomegranates, guarding your testosterone-producing cells like royal armor, avocados rebuilding your hormones with the healthy fats nature designed, bananas fueling steady energy and natural testosterone flow, and berries protecting your heart, mind, and manhood with every bite. I've seen these truths play out not in laboratories, but in real lives, men who walked into my clinic believing their best years were gone and walked out remembering who they truly are. I've watched tired faces turn sharp again, restless minds find focus, and quiet homes fill with laughter. Because when a man starts to heal, it doesn't just show up in his blood work, it shows up in his presence. And here's the part that matters most: you don't need to do everything at once. Just start. Open your fridge tonight, look at what's inside, and ask yourself a simple question: am I feeding my strength or my decline? Replace one bad habit with one good choice. Cut out the canned fruit and add some berries. Swap the soy mix for a handful of walnuts. Trade the sugary snacks for an avocado on toast. Small actions create massive returns over time. Remember, the testosterone isn't just a hormone. It's a signal, one that tells your body, I'm still here, I still have purpose, I still have fire. When you protect that signal, you protect the man you've spent a lifetime becoming. And if you've listened this far, I know something about you: you're not here by accident. You're here because you still believe in your potential, and that belief, my friend, is stronger than any supplement. So if this message has opened your eyes, do me and yourself a favor. Click that like button right now, not out of habit, but as a declaration. A small action that says, I'm choosing strength. And when you do, I want to wish you three things: that your mornings return with purpose, that your strength rises without fear, and that you wake each day knowing your best years aren't behind you, they are waiting for you to claim them. Leave me a comment below. Tell me what hit home, what you've changed, or even what you disagree with. I read every single one because this isn't just a podcast, it's a conversation between men who refuse to give up. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a message that could change your health or your life. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott, and this has been your wake-up call. The power to rebuild your vitality is already in your hands, and it begins with your next bite.